President, Joe Biden. The book, entitled Original Sin, depicts alleged attempts by the president's family and close aides to shield his mental lapses from the public. This may be one of the most highly anticipated political book releases in some time, but it has many.
Let me fix this first before I get started. Let me see. I can't hear damn thing. Why is this not talking? I'm talking. Why is this not talking? What's up with you? Wake up. Wake up.
Including The Daily Show's Jon Stewart.
Don't know who's not getting is it me? Okay, wait.
And the women of
And the thrill of the chase moves in mysterious ways. So in case I'm mistaken, I just wanna hear you say you got me, baby. Are you mine?
of The View, questioning if one of CNN's lead anchors was withholding information critical to the public for the benefit of selling copies. Another one of those people was Megyn Kelly. Please take a look at this.
Over here in my ecosphere, we were covering all of these. It wasn't just falling down. It was getting lost. It was some of the stuff you reporting.
Somewhere, well, not somewhere, misbehave. For days, great escape, lost track of time and space. She's a silver lining, climbing on my desire, and I go crazy, cause here is where I wanna be. Satisfaction feels like a distant memory, and I can't help myself. Oh, I wanna hear you say, "Is are you mine?" Wait. I think I see what the problem is. Hold on, wait. It can't be my speakers. Is it real high definition tech? Digital output, but I still have my mic. Okay, wait, go back now to
Your book, we knew and we were reporting on, like.
Nope, still not hearing it. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Is it empty speakers? What about you? Let's see. Maybe that works.
The multi.
Oh, wait, nope, that came out of you. Let me see. I wish somebody was here to tell me if my mic is working now. Let's see. Okay.
Jump cuts in the videos of him, where it was obvious he couldn't get through a 1-minute take. It was clear to us that he was using teleprompter, and there was some reporting on that at the time, all of which the White House was denying. Now, with the current White House, I have some connections. With the Joe Biden White House, I had none. but you did. It was an attempted cover up. It could only ever work if you allowed it, if the press allowed it. Some of us tried not to, and some of us were complicit.
The Biden White House did not like me. Okay, I do not have great connections with the Biden White House.
Well, clearly you have a lot of sources. You say you talked to over 200 sources for this book.
This
so
was
you
after
have
the
some
election.
You could have called and worked.
No, that's the point, is that they were not being honest. That's
well,
the
how
point.
did the Wall Street Journal get it in June of 2024? And Jake Tapper and CNN couldn't find sources for this story then before he dropped out?
Annie Linsky and Siobhan Hughes did an amazing job in their reporting. And they should be heralded, and I heralded them. I had them on my show right after the debate to talk about their great reporting. But Annie Linsky,
the debate, but you did not put them on when they published that story, which was before the debate.
Correct. I don't know what the booking situation was, but it wasn't because I didn't want them. I'm sure I said that day, let's book. I'm sure I said that day, let's book that. Did they? Yeah, you
put on a Democrat, and you allowed the Democrat to rip on the report as a Rupert Murdoch sponsored hit piece.
No.
It's just
Megyn.
Well, that's
Megyn,
what happened.
If we're going to do this, let's just stick to the facts here, okay? When there is a damaging report,
that's what I've been doing all along.
I'm talking about what you just said.
Didn't miss the biggest story of the century when it comes to presidential politics, and one of us did.
Ouch. Let me say this, ladies and gentlemen, just as an aside. I've been a guest on Megyn Kelly's show at least a couple of times. I'll probably be back on in a week or so.
Okay, thank you. Is there any background noise to it?
You don't say to Megyn Kelly, let's stick to the facts. I've seen her on Real Time with Bill Maher. I saw her there. I've been watching her for years. I respect the hell out of that woman. She does not play. She does not pull punches. She gives you facts. She lives on them. And on top of it all,
thank you.
When there are personal relationships involved, as was the case with Pete Hegseth, en route to him becoming our Secretary of Defense, she was very transparent about her relationship with him. She does not play. She is not a joke. She is legit. I respect the hell out of that woman. I really do. And to say, let's stick to the facts.
This is hella Megyn Kelly glazing right now. It's just, he's salivating at the fact.
I would like to say Jake Tapper was in trouble then, but it was actually before then. But certainly at that particular moment in time, he's supposed to be coming on this show soon. I hope I do half as good of a job as she did.
Glaze.
She had it all. The fact remains that there were people who had come on CNN, who had appeared on Jake Tapper's show, like Laura Trump did. And he summarily dismissed them, which he openly admits. He confessed to having a private conversation in the aftermath of learning the facts and essentially apologizing to Laura Trump at that particular moment in time. Does that make up for how dismissive he was towards her? I don't know. I would encourage everybody to go and watch that interview from start to finish. I would encourage everybody to look at what she was saying and to really, really get into the weeds of it all. I'm going to throw myself out here now. I called out Joe Biden and the diminished mental acuity and the lack of fervor.
Let me pull this away from
and the incapacitation that so many that people were alluding to. I called it out a year in advance. I got eviscerated. Because
you didn't know you were talking about.
And I'm not, quote unquote, conservative. So I can relate to Megyn Kelly sitting before him and being pretty pissed off. Because the conservative media was right. The conservative media was right. And the liberal media wasn't just wrong. The challenge is, was it intentional? Now, I'm not here to accuse Jake Tapper of that. I'll ask him when I speak to him. But there is no doubt that one of the issues that's really permeating, that can't be avoided, is that the Democratic Party
Oh, God.
was demanding that you flow with and you vibe with what they wanted you to. And if you didn't, they were ready to have your ass canceled.
I'm going to be completely nice about this and be like, I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt, Stephen A. Smith, that once again, Stephen A. doesn't know anything, jack shit about nothing, because he's kind of fairly new to politics. I mean, not fairly new. He has better resources to access information than I would. All I do is access Google and actually ground news specifically gives me both sides, so I can actually get to the what do you say? Get to the weeds of it all. To actually get the story correct, instead of actually just fondling off every fucking Republican that I can hear or that I can see and try to tell me the stupid information. There was no Democrats demanded anybody do anything. Like, that's just ultra bullshit. No Democrat told me what to fucking do or what to vote for. Like, that literally was presented. You either voted for Donald Trump after seeing the performance at the debate, or I'm not sorry, not Donald Trump. Forgive me. You either voted for Joe Biden after seeing his performance at the debate against Donald Trump, or you didn't. If you weren't confident in if you felt like he was mentally declining at that point and that was concerning you, fine. But I don't understand why everybody expected people to give them a rundown about somebody's health. Nobody gave a damn about Joe Biden's health before he started running, before he was running again. But only when the fucking slip-ups that he's having, and it wasn't even really slip-ups. If you go to the actual debate, he was answering questions. Was he stuttering? Yeah. Did he like stare off into the distance at times? Sure. He's 80 plus years old. I expect that. Neither one of those guys should be running. They're too damn old to be running the country right now. Those were the choices that we have. We couldn't have a Democratic, we couldn't have a DNC, we couldn't have a proper Democratic primary because there wasn't enough time to do so. It's simple information.
Which is why you had so many people lamenting cancel culture. Which is why you have somebody like me, Vinny, from the PBD podcast. Love you, bro. Love you. But this is why you have people like me saying, yo, we're pretty ticked off because those are not things we knew. Oh. And when you see the Democrats engaging in a level of duplicity that you don't like, you're offended by it.
We're almost to June. We're in mid-May right now. And the topic is Joe Biden and his mental decline. We are in the midst of turmoil in Donald Trump's presidency so far. And currently the topic is about Joe Biden's mental decline from last year. Donald Trump's been president for a little over 4 months now, officially. The president since the inauguration, a little over 4 months now. And we're still talking about Joe Biden. We get the news that Joe Biden has prostate cancer. So instead of wishing, Joe Biden and his family, well wishes and, hope they get through this scenario, what do we do? What does everybody do? What do Republicans do? What does Stephen A's do? They use this opportunity to say, I knew it. I fucking knew it. I knew they were lying to us the whole time. Joe Biden had cancer for 4 years and no one mentioned it. I guarantee you that's what he's thinking right now. I think people forget. One second. I think people forget why. I think people forget about cancer and how it works. Why cancer is such a kick in the balls to families. Cancer doesn't tell you when it's coming. It doesn't knock on your door and say, I'm here. Cancer is like, and I don't mean to make light of it, but the only thing I can think of is cancer is like an RKO out of nowhere. You don't see it coming. You don't know it's coming. But you just get RKO'd. That's all you know. And for individuals to think that the administration or anybody was hiding cancer, it's a fucking dickwad. That's just my opinion. I just heard a whole Piers Morgan panel try to convince me and convince people watching that there's no way that they should have caught this prostate cancer at a regular physical. No, when the president goes through their normal physical, there's no scans. There's no scans for cancer. When you do a regular blood test, the immediate thing the doctor is going to do is the doctor's not going to immediately scan for prostate cancer. That's not what happens. There needs to be symptoms to be shown. There needs to be things like recognizing things. You can't just go up to a doctor. I mean, you can. Don't get me wrong. I can walk up to my doctor and say, take my blood or do what you need to do, but I want to see if I have prostate cancer or not. But if I'm just going in for a regular checkup, they're not going to do that unless I tell them to do that. I think that's the big difference. That's what people are not understanding. So when we talk about Joe Biden's mental decline or alleged decline, and we talk about a fucking book that's coming out about it, understand that this is just a bunch of bullshit. This is a gotcha moment for a bunch of people who pretend that they're not Republicans.
Specifically you're referring to as bullshit. I'll do my best to address your concerns or provide the information you need.
Oh, okay. So my phone just literally interrupted my conversation and tried to counsel me. But yeah, that's basically about what I wanted to say about that specific issue.
Now somebody like him would say, well, we were there with Trump all along. Well, that sounds like a loyalty to Trump instead of a loyalty to America. Just because that's your dude and you were vibing with him don't mean you knew factually and definitively that there was truth being told about the Democrats that the rest of us were oblivious to. Megyn Kelly came to find that out, along with others. My man Sean Hannity says religiously, hey, liberal media is dead.
Because it didn't tell you that Joe Biden, because they didn't tell you his fucking health? Like, what the fuck? Nobody asked for it. Literally nobody asked. So after the damn debate, no one asked about, hey, how's Joe Biden's health doing? No one asked that. And if there were people prior to the debate that knew, hey, man, I don't think Joe Biden's I don't think he's in great condition to run this country right now, they should have said something back then. But the only reason Stephen A. is talking about it, the only reason Republicans are harping on it right now, is because they thought there was some weird ass fucking scandal going on. Nobody's obligated. They're not obligated. Donald Trump's not obligated to tell us how he's doing physically. Joe Biden is not obligated to tell us how he's doing physically. The only thing I give a fuck about is how you're running the fucking country. That's all I care about. That's what they were elected for. They weren't elected to run a fucking marathon. They were elected to be the president of the United fucking States.
This is what he was talking about. The Mark Levins, the Sean Hannitys, the Clay Travises of the world and others, the Megyn Kellys of the world. What can we say to them at this particular moment in time? If you are a Democrat who bought in to the Democratic Party, willing to engage in cancel culture, when it came to anybody who would dare verbalize a dissenting opinion to what they were putting out there, what can we say? CNN was clearly guilty of it. We saw Joe Scarborough going on MSNBC with Morning Joe. We saw him on the national airwaves raving about President Biden's health and acuity. We saw it. But there was clearly evidence to the contrary. And when that evidence was revealed, people on the left engaged in condemnation towards those who had the guts to tell what clearly has now become the truth. I'm
going to say this. I don't think he's been paying attention to the whole scenario, but as soon as that debate ended, there's a lot of elected officials who were very pissed off that were Democrats. They were very, very upset. Democratic voters were upset. There were people that were just saying, why do you think that people were pushing to get him off? Because they thought that he can do it because he's going up against Donald Trump. These are two old, grumpy-ass men. It's two grumpy old men. So you would think that, okay, well, Biden is a little bit more intelligent. Maybe, just maybe, he can hold off Donald Trump. But when he showed his performance, which I personally don't think was bad, when you actually focus on the fucking policies, which is what's wrong with this fucking country, honestly. We focused on the fucking stuttering and shit, but we didn't hear anything that Joe Biden said when he was asked questions. And we forgot the fact that we didn't even criticize Donald Trump for being a complete idiot and not answering any of the questions, but whatever. Yeah, so... shit, I forgot what I was going to say.
We get into the timing of Jake Tapper and his book coming out and how the publicity of it all is venturing around Biden's announcement that he has an aggressive form of prostate cancer. You can lament that all day till the cows come home. You're trying to sell a book, you're trying to sell a book. You wrote the book, you put in the work, you got a right to promote the book. But the point is, CNN and other platforms, if indeed you engaged in the kind of behavior that dissuaded and minimized and, dare I say, condemned those who would dare challenge the mental acuity and the health and the overall health of Joe Biden. What do you have to say for yourself now?
Who did that? Like, who was condemning people? I think the thing, I didn't hear any condemnation coming from a lot of people. I heard it actually, if there was anybody saying Joe Biden needs to step down, he can't do it. After the debate, it was everybody. There were a few people who defended him, right? But they weren't loud enough voices. People thought he should step down. Me personally, I think, hey man, so just go down with the fucking ship. Run Joe Biden. See if the American people want to roll with Joe Biden, they would have rolled with Donald Trump. That's what I would have done personally. That was what I was hoping that they would do. Because I knew exactly what they were going to do to Kamala Harris, and they were going to assassinate her fucking character because, and I'm going to say it, and I know people aren't going to like to hear it, because of misogyny and racism. I didn't want Kamala Harris to be put through that. I wanted her to actually have a campaign. Her being the former vice president running for presidency in 2028 would have actually been a good look. But, you know, it is what it is. But like, this is just fucking, I don't want to call it a lie. I can't look at Stephen A and say that he's lying. I just feel like he's just misinformed. I feel like a lot of people just don't realize that the backlash towards Biden came from all sides.
It is a legitimate question.
I think, if anything, people were getting attacked because of the ableism.
I applaud Jake Tapper for showing up to Megyn Kelly's show. He knew it wasn't going to be easy. But boy, did he get raked through the coals by her with nothing but facts. Nothing but facts. And now if you're the Democratic Party, please understand that when I said Monday, you're the political version of Lance Armstrong. Please understand, I'm not backing up from that statement one bit. I mean it. Lance Armstrong was lying through his damn teeth about taking performance-enhancing drugs. When he was accused of it, he didn't just deny it. He tried to ruin the lives of those who were telling the truth about him. And now that
what the fuck is he talking about? I mean, at this point, I'm confused. Whose life was ruined? Was it pushback because people didn't believe you? Because people actually thought that Joe Biden was okay? That's a fucking problem. Who was canceled? Like, was Stephen A canceled? He sees a big ass platform. Was Joe Rogan canceled? Was PDP, however you say that shit, canceled? Piers Morgan was talking about that shit all of last year since that debate. He wasn't canceled. What is he fucking talking about? Is he talking about the very few people that tried to tell you that he's okay? I know that there was a decline in Joe Biden. But what I also know is I don't think that would have affected significantly his ability to govern the United States of America versus Donald Trump. I think that's the pushback you're getting. I think the pushback you're getting is from people not wanting to go with Trump, so they're pushing back against the fact that you think that he's not fit to run the president or run the country at that point in time. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't know anybody who was canceled over this. If anybody was canceled over this, it'll be all the Democrats who try to defend it, or it'll be fucking Joe Biden himself. If anything, Kamala's campaign was fucked because of this.
Reflect on what transpired with Joe Biden and how complicit the Democratic Party appears to have been in all of that. What are we to say about them?
Yo, what's up? Rage Against the Ovary?
It ain't about Trump.
This is FB. Yes, it is. This is me.
It's not about Kamala Harris. It's about that party.
Who's Rage Against the
From
Ovary?
woke culture to cancel culture. Vibe with us or you got to get bounced out of here. You got rid of your own. Andrew Cuomo's a problem until he leaves office. Then all of a sudden, practically all the cases go away. Al Franken and his behavior as a comedian is a problem, even though you had him lock, stock, and barrel in a Senate seat for the Democrats in Minneapolis. And then all of a sudden he's out and now stuff don't matter that much anymore.
What are you talking about?
Time and time and time again. The Democrats have eaten their own. And spit them out. Hell, listening to Bernie Sanders speak, one would argue you're doing it to him. This is bad.
Are we talking about when people criticize Bernie Sanders for going on a podcast with Andrew Schultz? The same Andrew Schultz that said that the reason he voted for Republicans because Democrats weren't cool anymore. He said, Andrew Schultz said on a podcast, he said that Democrats were cool when they were getting their schlong sucked in the Oval Office. That's when Democrats were cool. So I guess he switched over to the side where, the head honcho said that he likes to grab women by the pussy and just, routes and then walk in on women in a changing room. I think it was a Miss America or a pageant. So I guess that might be where the fucking backlash for Bernie Sanders is. If he gets fucked, if people start coming at him, it's probably going to be because of that.
This is very bad. And I think that as Jake Tapper goes around
Can you guys see the mouse?
promoting his book, and the more facts we learn from this book, I think irreparable harm is going to be done to the Democrats. I think the midterms are in jeopardy. I think the presidency in 2028.
Okay, I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to end it, because I really just wanted to cover this particular story. I think it's when I'm really going to start doing random videos, plus a longer live, but I will be doing like random short segments. But I'm going to say this, to what he just said. If people not knowing about Joe Biden's health status, if Joe Biden getting prostate cancer is going to be the reason why the Democrats lose the midterms versus the Republicans fucking everything up versus Donald Trump crashing or tanking the economy versus Donald Trump literally destroying the United States. In my opinion, our most powerful weapon of mass destruction is influence. That's our most powerful weapon, is influence around the world. He literally fucked that. Price of eggs are still high for those people who like to eat fucking eggs, and that was a big fucking deal. The price of eggs is still high. You need to go to like a Safeway, maybe get a membership card. You might get like $1 off of fucking eggs. But it's still high for whoever voted for fucking eggs. Palestine and Gaza, or Israel and Palestine is still going on. The best thing that Donald Trump said is telling Netanyahu to pack it up. Nothing. That's it. Just pack it up. Ukraine and Russia are still at war. He hasn't done anything. If the only thing that he's done so far is I would say the border, but then I can't even give Donald Trump 100% of the credit for the border because statistically, if you look at what was going on last year, before the election, middle of last year, the encounters at the border were already dramatically dropping. Check the stats on it. It was dropping. I don't care who was president, who would have been president at this point in time. Encounters would have probably been around the same level that it is now. Because if there's a bipartisan that both parties can agree on, it's the border. And they had a perfect bill for it, bipartisan, until Donald Trump decided to get them to cut it so he can run on it. So it would not have mattered who would have won the election. I think the border encounters would have looked exactly the way it is right now. The only problem that I have with everything is the methods or the ethics or the morality of the mass deportation tactics that are happening to people. You shouldn't be deporting people because of their freedom of speech. You shouldn't be snatching people off the fucking streets wearing fucking street clothes like you're just fucking kidnappers. Whatever. It is what it is. This is America. This is the America people voted for. It's only going to get worse from here. People like Stephen A. Smith. Again, I don't want to call him stupid. I think I did. I don't like calling people stupid. I just feel like he's still new to this world of politics. The fuck? He's still new to the world of politics. So I would say that he's just misinformed. Yeah, that's what I would say. All right. That's all I gotta say. Thank you for attending this quick rant. I'll be on tomorrow with a longer one and then another short one. So catch you guys later. I might even do a little gaming stream. I got my computer system set up now, so I'm probably gonna do a little bit of gaming. Some little horror, some poppy. You guys don't give a fuck about that. Okay. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on the